It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, Brian, this next question is from Avery. Avery said, as married 25-year-olds saving close to 30% of our income, that's awesome. Wow. What strategies should we be considering to retire between the ages of 50 and 55? We're already maxing our HSA, and we're contributing entirely to Roth otherwise. So I assume that means they're maxing out Roth IRAs and then maybe doing their 401ks. So I think the question that Avery's asking, if they have a 30% savings rate starting at 25 years old, odds are they're going to have some options, some flexibility earlier in life. So if someone is thinking about retiring before traditional ages, before the 65 or before 60, what are some of the considerations that they ought to be thinking about? And how seriously should they be thinking about those types of things at age 25?
Yeah, by the way, this is so incredible. Avery, that's awesome. I mean, I have an Avery in my household too, and I just hope that in the next 7 years of her life, if I could land where she's saving 30% of her household income.
You'd have done all right.
That's great, because I'm trying to plant those seeds left and right, and that's good for you and your family. So here's the thing I first think, and once again, I know you guys, it sounds like a broken record, but this is just the genius of how great the financial order of operations is that we go right to the chart and we look at it. We know Roth and health savings accounts, those are super valuable. So as somebody who's in your mid-20s and you're maximizing, you're going to make sure those things are topped off with the maximum amount that the government lets you put in, because those funds are so good that the government restricts who can get in there and how much you can put in there. Take advantage of that limited window that the government provides to you. So then we get to step 6, which is max out retirement accounts. This is where you get some flexibility. Realize somebody who's in their mid-20s saving 30%, you're already past hyper saving mode because you've exceeded that 25% already. So even though you might not reach the $19,500 in your 401k at work, you still as a percentage of your income have already reached 25%. That's when we get to hyper accumulation, which is step 7. And that's when we have the 3 buckets, because guess what? You're going to need, if you know you're retiring, and they said 50 or 55.
50 or 55, somewhere in that range.
That is before you're legally allowed to get access to IRAs. IRAs are 59.5. Now, look, we can do some fancy things that get you access earlier, but we're not going to get into that complexity here right now. 401k is 55 potentially. So 55 versus 50 is going to have some different options as well. But the main thing is you'll want to have a bridge account that will be after-tax savings brokerage account that you can have access to. There's nothing wrong with you saving that 5% above the 25 into an after-tax account. You can still do indexed target retirement funds. You can still have access to it in case other opportunities in life come along your way. It's just a great way to plan and save.
Yeah, and one of the things that I would encourage you to think about is I wouldn't get too lost in the weeds too many decades ahead. So one of the things that people always say to me is, hey, I'm 25 years old. I want to retire at 50. How in the world am I going to go get health insurance? And I'm like, do you realize that between the time right now and the time you turn 50, our health insurance landscape is probably going to change 100 times? And so we can make an educated guess on how that's going to happen, but I wouldn't so much worry about that. And at 25, frankly, I know that my life specifically has changed a lot since I was 25. We've changed. We've started a couple companies. We've moved different states. I've started a family. We've had a bunch of kids. All those sorts of things can happen. So be careful, trying to plan too precisely too early. You are doing the hard thing, and you're doing the right thing right now by saving that 30%. If you can keep that up, your 30, 35, 40, and 45-year-old self is going to be blown away at how well positioned you are because of the decisions you're making right now. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.